Okay, so I have four movies to talk about today. I have Sanctuary, Extraction 2, The Strays, which is on Netflix, and Theater Camp. So let's just get right into it and talk about these movies. The first one is Sanctuary. This is a movie that got a lot of buzz, I think, coming out of TIFF. I think that's the film festival it premiered at. A lot of people are saying how provocative it is and how original it is and yada yada yada. I was pretty skeptical just because it's another single location movie, and I've kind of beaten that dead horse already with them all being pretty mediocre. But this one actually surprised me. I had a lot of fun with Sanctuary. It took its unique premise and actually did something with it. That's the issue that a lot of these one location thrillers have, is they follow the same beats, they follow the same path, and none of them capitalize on their unique situations or unique concepts. Nothing like that. With Sanctuary, I feel like it took these two really interesting characters and pit them in a battle of wits that really worked for me. The acting from both actors is phenomenal. They're both really, really great in this movie. Definitely the highlight of the film is kind of them having an acting competition, just trying to one up each other the entire time. It's pretty cool. And the screenwriting here is pretty great. It knew how to keep its characters combined into one room while also not limiting them or limiting the amount of tense or tension that there is. I just felt like this is a really well-rounded and well-written movie. It kind of loses me in the middle. The second act isn't as strong as the first and the third, but it's not anything like deal-breaking. This is still a really, really solid movie, and I'm going to give Sanctuary a light A-. Really, really great stuff. The next one up is Extraction 2, and this is a movie that is following up. I think it's the most watched movie on Netflix ever. I reviewed the original Extraction back in the day. I think that's just because it was COVID, and they put a lot of effort into marketing that movie, and it was on Netflix during a really just nothing time in movie releases. There was almost nothing coming out, so we turned to Netflix originals, and that's why Extraction was as popular as it was. And it was a pretty good action thriller. I liked it. It just was kind of substandard. It was fine. And Extraction 2 is getting even more, not more attention, just people are liking it more, so I decided to check this one out, and it was okay. It was definitely another Extraction movie, and I feel like it was just doing the same thing that the first movie did. Just another adventure with Chris Hemsworth's character, and there's nothing wrong with that. The action was solid in it. I liked how it was shot. Chris Hemsworth did a good job, and that's about all I can say. This is just a standard action movie that I had fun with, but didn't really remember a whole bunch after it concluded. So I'm gonna give Extraction 2 a light B-. So yeah, that movie, it was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. Leave it at that. The next one is The Strays. This is also another Netflix original. I just decided to throw this on while I was on vacation because it looked interesting. And wow, this one was bad. This is definitely going to be one of the worst movies I see this year. It felt like the director of this movie saw Us and tried to copy that, but just did a extremely not great job of it. The main character is incredibly unlikable, and her motivations are completely unclear. The horror aspect of this movie is pretty much nothing. A whole lot of nothing happens in this movie, and they try to go for more. It seems like they were attempting subtlety, but there was just so many ham-fisted metaphors, and the tension of it all was so brittle and so just weak sauce. This entire movie just felt weak in its writing, its acting, its directing. All of it was bad. The only thing saving it from being an F was how funny a lot of it was. This movie is very unintentionally funny, and I had a good time watching it. But it's bad. It is really, really bad, and I'm going to give The Strays a D. This was not a great movie. Moving on, let's talk about the best movie of this roundup thing, and the one I was looking forward to the most, and that's Theater Camp. This is a movie I've been looking forward to ever since Carson Runquist reviewed it I think at Sundance or something, and he gave it pretty high praises. It looked really funny and interesting, so I went and checked it out, and it is stellar. Theater Camp is one of probably the best comedy. If now that I'm thinking, if I'm not counting like Barbie, even though it's kind of on that level, this is like the best comedy to come out this year. It's a really wonderful, extremely well shot mockumentary about a bunch of like theater kids at theater camp and how, how like theater kids work and like how they act. It's very, very accurate. I was never like directly involved in like the production aspect, but or like the actual like performance aspect. I was involved behind the scenes with a lot of theater stuff, especially in middle school. But with this one, like I got to see how theater people, at least at that age, like, you know, work, but from like a distance. And I feel like that this movie is very accurate to what my experience was like. This thing is very funny. It's very sharply written. But my favorite aspect of this movie is it doesn't just directly make fun of the characters. Like those kinds of documentaries work. They're funny, but they're not anything special. Like they're not. I'm not going to ever give them like super high praise just because like, yeah, that was funny, and then I move on. With this one, you actually give a shit about the characters. The characterization of all of the cast is really well done, and they're all given like huge personalities, and you can buy, and you're buying into what they're selling. Yes, they're ridiculous. They have really animated personalities and are very flamboyant and like kind of egotistical, but you root for these characters because of the writing, and the writing makes you care about them because of like emotional relationshipy stuff and interpersonal relationships between each of the teachers and the counselors at the camp. It makes you buy into them, and you feel the passion that they feel for theater. So I thought that was something that I wasn't expecting out of this movie, and something that really, really pushed it in front of other movies for me. And the ending, honestly, was a tearjerker. This ending is very, very good, and yeah, this is just a really outstanding movie, and I hope you guys all see this one. This is definitely my favorite of the bunch here, and definitely a favorite to be on my best theater list. So I'm going to give Theater Camp an A. This movie was great. So that's it for this little roundup review. This will, again, be holding over while I go on another vacation, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys later.